And Noah did all the things that the Lord commanded him to do. Noah was 600 years old when the flood waters came on the earth. And Noah and his sons and his wife and his sons' wives entered the ark to escape the waters of the flood. Pairs of clean and unclean animals, of birds and all creatures that move along the ground, male and female, came to Noah and entered the ark as God had commanded Noah. And after the 7 days, the flood waters came on the earth. In the 600th year of Noah's life, of the 17th day, on the second month, on that day all the springs of the great deep burst forth, and the flood waters of the heavens were opened, and rain fell on that earth 40 days and 40 nights. So I'm pretty sure when God told Noah that to build the ark, there was no sign that they lived by the sea or any body of water. So I'm pretty sure that Noah told people. I mean, they had to know or they had to question it because this was this huge, big boat, and there was no water to be like, hey, you're building a boat, okay, where the ocean's right there, but there's nothing. There's no water, no body of water for the boat to go into. So I'm pretty sure these people were, Noah's like, come help me. And they were just like, yeah, Noah, you're crazy. You're crazy because I can't just imagine him saying, well, they questioning him, where did you get this? How did you end up thinking that you're going to make this great, big, huge ark and there's no water, there's no rain, you're crazy. And Noah's like, well, God told me, so I'm going to do it. And it's like now that when God tells people to do something, or he has a message for someone and they're like, yeah, no, you're crazy. But it was crazy. It took, from the time that God told Noah to build the ark, it took 150 years for the waters to come, and then it took 150 years for the water to go down. So that was crazy. On that very day, Noah and his sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth, together with his wife and the wives of the 3 sons, they entered the ark. They had with them every wild animal according to its kind, and the livestock according to their kinds, every creature that moves along the ground according to its kind, and every bird according to its kind, and every thing with wings, pairs of all creatures that have breath of life in them, came to Noah and entered the ark. The animals going in were male and female, every living thing, as God had commanded Noah. Then the Lord shut him in. For 40 days the flood kept coming on to the earth, and as the waters increased, they lifted the ark high above the earth. The waters rose and increased greatly on the earth, and the ark floated on the surface of the water. They rose greatly on the earth, and all the high mountains under the entire heavens were covered. So everything, like nothing, you couldn't see anything. Everything on the earth, all you could see is bodies of water, like everywhere around water. And there was God did not tell Noah to save or protect or bring into the ark any kind of sea animal, because the water was its nature. They're their nature, so they probably survived. They had to survive in the waters. The waters rose and covered the mountains in a depth more than 15 cubits. Every living thing not that moved on land perished. Birds, livestock, wild animals, all the creatures that over the earth, and all mankind, everything on dry land that had breath of life in its nostril died. Every living thing on the face of the earth was wiped out, people and animals, and the creatures that move along the ground, and the birds that were wiped from the earth. Only Noah was left, and those with him in the ark. The waters flooded the earth for 150 days. So it still, it rained 40 days and 49, but they still were in the ark for 150 days more. But God remembered Noah and all the wild animals and the livestock. So remembering, when it says that God remembered Noah, he didn't forget about Noah, but there was a certain period of time that had to, that had to pass. And God's like, okay, well, it's time now. It's time to get them out of their place, out of that time. And he sent a wind over the earth, and the waters receded. Now that the springs deep on the floodgates of the heavens and had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky, the water receded steadily from the earth. At the end of the 150 days, the water had gone down. And then the 17th day of the 7th month, the ark came to rest on the mountain of Ararat. So it stopped on a mountain, and there's always something happening on mountains. Like anything that happens, something miraculous, something big, it has to be on a mountain. The waters continued to recede until the 10th month, and on the first day of the 10th month, the tops of the mountains became visible. After 40 days, Noah opened a window he had made in the ark and sent out a raven and it kept flying back and forth until the water had dried up from the earth. So he sent out a raven because ravens, they seek to prey on dead things, dead animals. So he sent out the raven and to make sure, if it was safe to get out. Then he sent out a dove to see if the water had receded from the surface of the ground. And the dove, it looks for the opposite. It seeks life. It seeks plantations. It seeks to land on something clean or good. But the dove could not find anywhere to perch because there was water over all the surface of the earth. So it turned to Noah in the ark, and he reached out his hand and took the dove and brought it back to himself in the ark. He waited 7 more days and again sent out the dove from the ark. When the dove returned to him in the evening, in its beak was a freshly plucked olive leaf. Then Noah knew that the water had receded from the earth, and he waited another 7 more days and sent the dove out again, but this time it did not return. So God, even though the water had came down and into the ground, and Noah still waited inside the ark for 7 days at a time, like 3 times 7 days each. And I don't know exactly, like the scholars don't exactly know the reason, if it was Noah wanting to wait, because he still waits after the dove comes back, or it doesn't come back. And Noah's like, okay, well, he's already found somewhere to be, somewhere to live, and somewhere to be around. And he already knows. So that was a good sign for him to be, hey, it's okay to come out the boat. But he still stayed more time. And either it was because he was waiting on God, or he's just like, okay, I don't know. We're after God did all of this, like, what's going on? What are we gonna do? Either they were scared to come out, or he was waiting on God's approval for him to come out, and I'm gonna think it's gonna be the second one. Then God said to Noah, "Come out of the ark, you and your wife and your sons and their wives. Bring out every kind of living creature that is with you, the birds, the animals, and all the creatures that move along the ground, so they can multiply on the earth and be fruitful and increase in numbers on it. So Noah came out together with his sons and his wife and his sons' wives, and all the animals and all the creatures that move along the ground, and all the birds, everything that moves on the land, came out of the ark, one kind after another. Then Noah built an altar to the Lord, and taking some of all the clean animals and clean birds, he sacrificed a burnt offering. So the Lord smelled the pleasing aroma and said in his heart, "Never again will I curse the ground because of humans, even though every inclination of the human heart is evil from the childhood, and never again will I destroy all living creatures as I have done. As long as the earth endures, seed time and harvest, cold and heat, summer and winter, day and night will never cease." So Noah, as having a thankful heart for saving him and his family, he built an altar, and he sacrificed to God. And God was pleased because he didn't have to do the sacrifice, but Noah, as a thanksgiving to the Lord, he offered it, and he saw how humble and honest his heart was. So he was pleased with him, and he said, "Never again will I destroy the earth." So as long as my promise is and my word is alive, there's always going to be summer, winter, fall, and spring, day and night. Chapter 9, God's covenant with Noah. Then God blessed Noah and his sons, saying to them, "Be fruitful and increase in number and fill the earth. The fear and dread of you will fall on the beasts of the earth, and all the birds in the sky, and every creature that moves along the ground, and all of the fish in the sea. They are given unto you into your hands. Everything that lives and that moves about will be food for you, just as I giving you the green plants. I now give you everything. But you must not eat meat that has its lifeblood still in it." So right here, just in these sentences right here, God is saying, well, now that I've started a new covenant with you guys, now the animals and the beasts, the birds and everything, that's all the creatures are going to be scared of you. So they're going to fear you. So that means that they weren't before, and they were vegetarians before the flood. So all they were able to eat was plants. Because it says right here that now he's giving them permission to eat anything, and including meat. But they're not allowed to eat meat with blood in it. And that's because blood is supposed to be a representation of life, and life is sacred to God. And that is one thing that God does not want them to do, eat blood, because the blood represents life, and life is sacred to God. "And for your life blood I will surely demand an accounting. I will demand an accounting from every animal and from each human being too. I will demand an accounting for the life of another human being. Whoever sheds a human blood, by human shall their blood be shed. For in the image of God has God made mankind." So this is God's telling them, like, you shall not murder, you shall not kill, because as you kill, you will be killed the same way. As for you, be fruitful and increase in numbers, multiply on the earth and increase upon it. Then God said to Noah and his sons with him, I now establish my covenant with you and with your descendants of after you, and with every living creature that was with you, the birds, the livestock, and all the wild animals, all these that came out of the ark with you. Every living creature on earth, I establish my covenant with you. Never again will all life be destroyed by the waters of the flood. Never again will there be flood to destroy the earth. So right here, God is saying, I care about you, and I care about every single animal and insect there is. And I'm not going to destroy it again as I did. And God said this is a sign of the covenant I am making between me and you and every living creature with you, and a covenant of all generations to come. I have set my rainbow in the clouds, and it will be the sign of the covenant between me and the earth. Whenever I bring clouds over the earth and the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will remember my covenant between me and you and all living creatures of every kind. Never again will the waters become a flood to destroy all life. Whenever the rainbow appears in the clouds, I will see it and remember the everlasting covenant between God and all the living creatures of every kind on the earth. So God said to Noah, this is the sign of the covenant I have established between me and all the life on the earth. So he's saying, every time that you remember or that you see the rainbow, it's that I'm making protection over you and every single creature on earth and everything on it, that I will not destroy, I will not kill it like I did in the flood. So this is my promise to you every time you see it in the clouds. Now, verse 18. The sons of Noah who came out of the ark were Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Ham was the father of Canaan. And this is a very important comment right here. These were the three sons of Noah, and from them came the people who were scattered over the whole earth. So these are the patriarchs of the generations or the nations to come from. So everything after Noah, the flood, everybody else comes from these people. Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Noah, a man of the soil, proceeded to plant a vineyard. When he drank some of its wine, he became drunk. Now, within the Bible, it says that it's not a sin to drink because Jesus drank wine, but it is a sin to get drunk, to overdrink alcohol or hard drink. That's what it says. So it's not a sin to drink, but it is a sin to get drunk. And this is what happened. He drank too much and he got drunk and lay uncovered inside his tent. Ham, the father of Canaan, saw his father naked and told his two brothers outside. But Shem and Japheth took a garment and laid it across their shoulders. Then they walked in backward and covered their father's naked body. Their faces were turned to the other way so they would not see their father naked. So that was a sin. It was a sin for anybody at that time, or it is now, I guess, that your nakedness, your body should not be seen by anybody. It should be sacred. And his son, Ham, he was making fun of his dad. And he was drunk, he was naked, so he's like over there making fun of him. He went and told his brothers, but his brothers were not being disrespectful to him. So they walked in backwards so they would not see how he was. And when Noah awoke from his wine and found out what his youngest son had done to him, he said, "Cursed be Canaan, the lowest of slaves. Will he be to his brothers?" He also said, "Praise be to the Lord, the God of Shem. May Canaan be the slave of Shem, and may God extend Japheth's territory. May Japheth live in the tents of Shem, and may Canaan be the slave of Japheth." Now, why is Noah cursing Canaan and not Ham? Well, you're going to see later on in the Bible that like I said, the Israelites are going to come from the line of Shem. And Canaan is going to be the nation of the Canaanites, where God is going to command the Israelites to go into the land of Canaan and take over the land. So God is already prophesying over the nation of Israel, and he's doing it through Noah into his sons. So like when you read and understand the Bible, everything makes sense when God just puts everything in perspective and he explains, and everything is in order. It's so amazing. This is why it's important to learn and study the Bible, because to know where everything comes and how everything is placed. I mean, if you only read some sections and you don't read exactly how it was, it's a better understanding of how the story starts and how it ends. It's incredible. Like, I don't know. But yes, so that's right here, what this prophecy right here, it's where it comes to pass, where the lineage of the Hebrew people or the Israelites take over the land of Canaan, and where each of them go into separation of the land when they spread out, once they start multiplying on the land. After the flood, Noah lived 350 years, and Noah lived a total of 950 years, and then he died. So he died a very, very old age. Chapter 10. This is the account of Shem, Ham, and Japheth, Noah's sons, who themselves had sons after the flood. So the sons of Japheth were Gomer, Magog, Madai, Javan, Tubal, Meshach, and Tyrus. The sons of Gomer were Ashkenaz, Ripha, and Gomorrah. I'm going to butcher all these names because I don't know how to pronounce them. The sons of Javan were Elisha, Tarshish, the Kittites, and the Rodanites. From these, the maritime people spread out into their territories by their clans with their nations, each with its own language. The sons of Ham, Cush, Egypt, Put, and Canaan. The sons of Cush were Seba, Haviah, Septa, Roma, and Septica. The sons of Rama were Sheba and Dedan. And Cush was the father of Nimrod. So Nimrod was a mighty warrior, but he was an evil warrior. He was known by most of every nation because he was a mighty, strong warrior. but at the same, he was respected because he was evil. Like, he was evil and strong and mighty. He killed a lot of people in wars. Who became a mighty warrior on the earth, and he was a mighty hunter before the Lord. That is why it is said, like Nimrod, a mighty hunter before the Lord. The first centers of his kingdom were Babylon, Uruk, Akkad, and Calneh in Shinar. From that land they went to Assyria, where they built Nineveh, Rehoboth, Keilah, and Resen, which is between Nineveh and Keilah, which is a great city. Egypt was the father of the Ludites, Anamites, Lehobites, Nahabothites, Petrusites, Casuhites, from whom the Philistines came, and Caphtorites. Canaan was the father of Sidon, his firstborn, and the Hittites, the Jebusites, Amorites, the Girgashites, Hivites, Arkites, and Sinites, Arvadites, Samarites, and the Hamathites. Later the Canaanite clans scattered, and the borders of Canaan reached from Sidon toward Gerar as far as Gaza, and then toward Sodom, Gomorrah, Admah, and Zeboim, as far as Lasha. These are the sons of Ham by their clans and languages in their territories and nations. Sons were also born to Shem, whose older brother was Japheth. Shem was the ancestor of all the sons of Eber. The sons of Shem: Elam, Asher, Arphaxad, Lud, and Aram. The sons of Aram were Uz, Hol, Gether, Meshech. Arphaxad was the father of Shelah, and Shelah the father of Eber, and the sons were born to Eber. One was named Peleg, because in his time the earth was divided, and his brother's name was Choktan. Choktan was the father of Almadad, Sheleph, Hazarameth, Jerah, Hadaram, Uzal, Dikla, Obal, Abimil, Sheba, Ophir, Havilah, Jobad. All these were sons of Joktan. The region where they lived stretched from Mesha toward Sephar in the eastern hill country. These are the sons of Shem by their clans and languages in their territories and nations. These are the clans of Noah's sons, according to their lineage of descent within their nations. From these the nations spread out over the earth after the flood. Chapter 11. Now the whole world had one language and a common speech. As people moved eastward, they found a plain to Shinar and settled there. They said to each other, "Come, let's make bricks and bake them thoroughly." They used the bricks instead of stone and tar for mortar. Then they said, "Come, let us build ourselves a city with a tower that reaches to the heavens, so that way when we make a name for ourselves, otherwise we will be scattered over the face of the whole earth." So even though that God told this people to spread out and multiply, the people said, "No, let's just stay here," since, they found it great to be in that land, and they were being, what is it called? Arrogant and proud, and they're just like, let's build high buildings and be great, so all the nations could know who we are and where we come from. And they start sinning again. But the Lord came down to see the city and the tower the people were building. The Lord said, "If as one people speaking the same language they have begun to do this, then nothing they plan to do will be impossible for them. Come, let us go down and confuse their language so they will not understand each other." So this is why God changed the people's language so they would not understand what they're doing and cooperate with their plans, because they were just being too greedy, too selfish, too proud, and God wasn't having it. So the Lord scattered them from there over all the earth, and they stopped building the city. That is why it was called Babel, because there the Lord confused the language of the whole world. From there the Lord scattered them over the face of the whole earth. From Shem to Abram. This is the account of Shem's family line. 2 years after the flood, when Shem was 100 years old, he became the father of Arphaxad. And after he became the father of Arphaxad, Shem lived 500 years and had other sons and daughters. When Arphaxad had lived 35 years, he became the father of Shelah, and after that he became the father of Shelah. Arphaxad lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Shelah had lived 30 years, he became the father of Eber, and after he became the father of Eber, Shelah lived 403 years and had other sons and daughters. When Eber had lived 34 years, he became the father of Peleg, and after he became the father of Peleg, Eber lived 430 years and had other sons and daughters. When Peleg had lived 30 years, he became the father of Reu, and after he became the father of Reu, Peleg lived 209 years and had other sons and daughters. When Reu had lived 32 years, he became the father of Serug, and he became the father of Serug, Reu lived 207 years and had other sons and daughters. When Serug had lived 30 years, he became the father of Nahor, and after he became the father of Nahor, Serug lived 200 years and had other sons and daughters. When Nahor had lived 29 years, he became the father of Terah, and after he became the father of Terah, Nahor had lived 119 years and had other sons and daughters. After Terah had lived 70 years, he became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And this is now Abram's family. This is the account of Terah's family line. Terah became the father of Abram, Nahor, and Haran. And Haran became the father of Lot. While his father Terah was still alive, Haran died in Ur, the Chaldeans, in the land of his birth. Abraham and Nahor both married, and the name of Abram's wife was Sarai, and the name of Nahor's wife was Milcah, and she was the daughter of Haran, and the father of both Milcah and Iscah. Now Sarai was childless because she was not able to conceive, and Terah took his son Abram, his grandson Lot, and his son Lot, son of Haran, and his daughter-in-law Sarai, the wife of his son Abram, and together they set out from Ur of the Chaldeans to go to Canaan. But when they came to Haran, they settled there, and Terah lived 205 years, and he died in Haran. So right here, this is where God had told Abraham to leave his father's house and go to Canaan. But Abraham went and took his father and Lot, and instead of going straight to Canaan, they settled in Haran. And this is where they delayed. And they're going to see what is going to cause the consequences of delaying. Because when God tells you to do something, you're supposed to go and do it right away, not stall, not take breaks, because that will cause delay and that will cause your blessings not to come on time, or delay blessings. And they're going to find out how much of a delay and how much of a consequences that they're going to have to go through because of this. And this ends the story of Noah and his family. And then it's going to be for next week. I'm going to try to do it as soon as I can, because I just had so much problems doing or finishing up for last Tuesday. Actually, I was going to do it on Wednesdays, both the Spanish and the English ones. But for next week, it's the story of Abraham, and it's going to go from chapter 12 to the 23rd. But I'm not sure that I'm going to be able to do that all in one. So it's going to be in 2 separate sections. But thank you guys for listening to this. And I hope and I pray that God gives you the wisdom, knowledge, and understanding of His Word. And that I pray that a seed is planted in your heart to be wanting to learn and know more about God and His Word and His promises, because I promise you, if you humble yourself, you get into the Word, you learn, you spend time with God, He will change your heart, He will change your situations. And I'm not saying that it's going to get better, but your heart and the way you approach your tribulations and your life and everything, it will change to a better. It's something that I want you to experience, and you should experience it yourself. And I thank you, Holy Spirit, for having to come and being able to open up our minds and our hearts to everything. I thank you, everyone. Have a good night. Bye. Hi, everyone. We're going to start off chapter 6 in Genesis, and we're going to go all the way to chapter 11. And we left off with the genealogy of Adam. And just one thing that I did not mention last time, the genealogy of Adam, which were the line where Jesus is going to come through from, is going to be from Seth. Seth's lineage is going to be the one that's going to bring Jesus. And it is very important that we know this, and it was important to God to put it in. And it was from Adam all the way to Noah, and God had placed a message that is to come. He is a perfect God, a God of perfection, a God that puts every single detail to a meaning. Nothing is left by Him. So if we put these in order, Adam means men. Adam had Seth, placed anointed. Seth had Enosh, it means mortal. Enosh had Canaan, it means sorrow. Canaan had Mahalalel, means blessed of God. Mahalalel had Jared, shall come down. Jared had Enoch, it means teaching and anointed. And Enoch had Methuselah, and Methuselah means his death will bring. Methuselah had Lamech, and Lamech means despairing taste, and Lamech had Noah, and Noah means comfort and rest. So if you put like all these names together, it has a message that God already knew what was going to happen and to come. So just by the meaning of all these names, it means a man placed and anointed, of course, by God, became mortal, who through sorrow blessed God. He came down as an anointed teacher, that his death will bring a despairing taste. but we'll also turn to rest and comfort. Isn't that amazing? It is so amazing on how God, holy and wonderful and merciful He is, because He already knew that we were a falling people and He had to do something to save us. But let's start off with chapter 6. So I thought that was something that we couldn't leave off. So chapter 6. When the human beings began to increase in number on the earth, daughters were born to them, the sons of God, which were the fallen angels. And there's two types of angels: the angels that are exalted, that are in heaven, and the fallen angels, which they become the demons and Satan. Saw that the daughters of humans were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, My spirit will not content with humans forever, for they are mortal, and their days will be 120 years. So God, He saw that as the more years they lived, the more wicked they became. So He's like, I've had enough of them. I've had it. I can't take it anymore. I'm just going to lower their years because it's just too much evil going on. Nephilim were on the earth in those days. So the Nephilim are the fallen angels and the women that they intermarried with. These are their children. And these were the giants of that time. They were, when the sons of God went to the daughters of humans and had children by them. So those are the Nephilim. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. The Lord saw how great and wickedness of the human race had become on the earth, and that every inclination of the thoughts of the human heart was only evil all the time. The Lord regretted them. They had made human beings on the earth, and His heart was deeply troubled. So He was so regretful, not in the fact that He would say, well, I should have just not created anything at all, but He was just sorrowful that His heart was so broken that the people that He created, they chose. He gave them free will, and they chose to be evil instead of choosing Him. So that's why His heart was so broken. So the Lord said, I will wipe them from the face of the earth, and the human race I have created, and with them the animals and the birds and the creatures that move along the ground, for I regret that I have made them. But Noah had found favor in the eyes of the Lord. So he just like, that's it. I'm going to kill everything on the earth that has breath except for Noah. And this is the account of Noah and his family. Noah was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and he walked faithfully with God. Noah had 3 sons, Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Now, Noah did not, he was not, it says that he was perfect and blameless. He was a sinful person because, like everybody else, we were born with a sinful nature. But the difference is that Noah walked with God. He walked in His ways. He sought God, as for the other people, they did not. Now the earth was corrupt in God's sight and was full of violence. God saw the corrupt of the earth had become, for all the people on the earth had corrupted their ways. So God said to Noah, I am going to put an end to all the people, for the earth is filled with violence because of them. I am surely going to destroy both them and earth. And so make yourself an ark of cypress wood, make rooms in it, and coat it with pitch inside and out, which is waterproof it. This is how you are to build the ark. The ark is to be 300 cubits long, 50 cubits wide, and 30 cubits high. So 1 cubit is about 18 inches. So it was 6 times long, 6 times long as it was in width, and it was about 4 story, like it was like a 4-story building. That's how big the ark was. And make a roof for it, leaving below the roof an opening 1 cubit high all around. But put a door in the side of the ark and make it lower, middle, and upper decks. So it was with three floors on it. I am going to bring flood waters on the earth to destroy all the life under the heavens. Every creature that has breath of life in it, everything on earth will perish. But I will establish my covenant with you, and you will enter the ark. So God's like, I'm destroying everything, every little thing living on earth, except for you and your family. So I'm making you that promise. And you, your sons, and your wife, and your sons' wives with you. You are to bring into the ark 2 of the living creatures, male and female, to keep them alive with you. 2 of every kind of the bird, every kind of animal, and every kind of creature that moves down along the ground will come to you to be kept alive. You are to take every kind of food that is to be eaten and store it away as food for you and for them. So God's telling Noah, make the ark. You're going to put all these animals that they're going to come to you, and you're going to bring food for them and for you. Noah did everything just as God commanded. He was being obedient. As you can see, it doesn't have an account that Noah questioned God on how all of this was going to happen. All he did is hear God and obeyed. He didn't ask any questions. And sometimes we have to ask ourselves, like, to be more like Noah, because I know that when God tells me something, I question it. I question on what, where, when, why, and it's like it's not that I'm trying to be disobedient, but it's just that I can't comprehend. Like my brain is not. It can't comprehend of everything that God's gonna do, or why He's doing it. And once you know what the Bible says and all the promises that He has, you're just gonna be like Noah and be like, okay, God, I know you have this. I know you have been to the future. You've created the future, and it's like, just give me the strength, the energy, the wisdom, the knowledge to do what you tell me to do and not question your ways. Chapter 7. The Lord then said to Noah, go into the ark, you and your whole family, because I have found the righteous in this generation. Take with you 7 pairs of every kind of clean animals, male and female, and 1 pair of every kind of unclean animal, male and its mate, and also 7 pairs of every kind of bird, male and female, to keep their various kinds alive throughout the earth. 7 days from now I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature that I have made.